I would put music and some audio cues in this intro, but I don't have any. Sorry.
Warning, if you have not seen whatever it is that I'm reviewing, this video may contain spoilers of key events. You'll have to consider this before watching the rest of the review. You have been warned.
12 episodes of wasted potential. Real effort drowned in a generic romp. That's all I need to say to describe Infinite Stratos in my eyes, as I drift this proverbial river without a paddle to arrive at the inevitable destination for which disappointment is abound. But what makes it hurt even more is not so much the moment of the letdown, but the aftermath when things are put into retrospect. However, I'm now beginning to doubt this personal belief after watching its sequel, Infinite Stratos 2, coming out of it with wounds. What else could go wrong, I thought. I can't even imagine how it could get any worse, I thought as I watched the first episode. It all looked the same, felt the same, but alas, first impressions, above all, was to be the most deceiving aspect of what is my pick for worst anime of 2013. Now, anyone familiar with the first season knows the drill in terms of plot at this point. With its setup, its girls, its sciencey magical science, its action, its quote-unquote romantically comedic sensibilities and other such bullshit, besides an actual fucking point to it all. Being a sequel, this picks up where it left off, with all of the above coming along with it, only this time, things are different. Very different. So different that standard explanations of its inner workings would cause an interdimensional implosion, the likes of which even the most intelligent life forms in our own galaxy would look at and shit their space pants. But fear not, for I have concocted the most simplest explanation to avoid such an event. Unlike the first season, Infinite Stratos 2 has a waterbender and a nerd! Yes, it has happened, and yes, you are still alive. Or are you? And along with a new batch of villains, Ichika Orimura will have the fight of his life by being presented a cookie between some hot French chick's cleavage! The horror! The horror, no! Oh, anything but the cookies, not the cookies, no, you fiends! So yeah, this is pretty much same old with a number 2 slapped on it, but they claim that IS2's biggest problem is that it follows the exact same formula, would be to completely disregard its other problems that stem from it. By attempting to be the exact same, it overshot the goal and took all the worst traits of the first season with it, creating a slog that makes Infinite Stratos 1 look like a less fun and less over-the-top version of Asobi ni Ikuyo in comparison. Translation? It makes IS1 look better than what IS1 really was. At every moment, Infinite Stratos 2 pushes the sheer stupidity and every other factor relating to convenience and stock character roles that pander to its pre-existing fanboys to begin with. And it all culminates in a question that only the gods can answer. Why the fuck would anyone with a functioning mass of brain cells want to fall in love with a guy this dense, this asinine, this overreactive and unbalanced in terms of how he is characterized, to the point where they would accept his shit in a handbasket and love every bite? I don't normally mind harems. I'm indifferent to harems by default. Hell, I can like one. But people, if any of these submissive wooden planks with boobs were truly human, they would dump this piece of kibble like a bird dumps food into the mouths of its babies. Though I would imagine that Ichika wouldn't mind. He's too busy getting his ass kicked to care. Infinite Stratos 2 doesn't take an initiative to improve its characters, making them worse in some respects. And any of the new additions aren't given the time or the insight for a damn to be given regarding their motivations. And even when there are reasonings behind certain actions, the outcome can range from you giving yourself a good old facepalm to having your brain insta-give by how illogical it was. All the show really cares about is filling out the running time with scenes upon scenes of insert whatever here to showcase how cute, sexy, ditzy, and oh so pure each girl is. Cause if you get to the point, develop multi-layered characters and have something remotely close to meaningful to convey to the viewers, how will you ever sell merchandise, I wonder? At least IS1 took some level of restraints, no matter how minor they were, to limit all the nonsense by mixing in tidbits of honest-to-God plot. This, on the other hand, fucks around more than a one-night stand with a tornado and is equally as fucked up. Even Charlotte, arguably the most normal girl of the first season, had her personality and role in the story shafted by what I can assume was the writers attempting to make her more compatible with the fan base. flat out ruining a character who had previously shown genuine potential. We also have a villain in there who's supposed to pack narrative relevancy, but is too enamored with gags and showcasing that it forgets to bother with context as to why we, or the characters, should care about her place within said narrative to begin with. She just hates Chifuyu and Ichika right off the bat. Hell, even the wiki fails to give us a reason. For all we know, she might as well be pissed off that Chifuyu threw away her bowl of cereal one morning and never apologized. What's her purpose when all things are considered? Who fucking cares? But when you push the characters aside, the story is still one big predictable series of elaborate contrivances used for the purpose of making sure that everything moves on, everything is alright, everything is not changed, not affected, not complicated, all in the name of keeping the status quo intact, as if the story itself holds the characters' hands through all the situations they might end up in, depriving it of real stakes, drama, and instead locks everything down to a single plane, with some sizable after effects. One of these after effects is the sheer lack of engagement with the fight scenes, a big component of Infinite Stratos in general. The fights in the first season were nothing special. I wouldn't call it a serious action anime in its own right, but when your story will actively refuse to go the extra miles to be more than it is, when it clearly can be, it sucks all the tension, suspense, and excitement that could have prospered. You know that things are going to be alright. You know that things are going to be the same. You know that the bad guys will retreat and good will survive. And if you think I'm spoiling anything of value, I'm simply stating things that don't require much effort to figure out. Did an explosion seemingly kill our characters? Nope. Let's have Tata Shiki come in and save them with a water barrier like she's from the last goddamn airbender and thrown out of place breast gag for good measure. Are things looking bad and it seems like our characters are gonna lose? Nope, because they will never give up and defeat the bad guys. Also, friendship is magic. Is Ichika dead? Nope, because of tears! Yeah, you heard me! Infinite Stratos pulls a Pokemon the first movie on us, and goddamn magical, seemingly enchanted, salty tears of love dropped on him, and now this got him to glow, and he's a fucking live again. Yeah guys, it literally went there. The story was stuck in limbo through about 80% of the entire show, mostly flooded by a sea of this, and this to be interesting. And even a speedball-induced chimp that's had 50 beers while marathoning perfect hair forever will yawn till its tongue drops with a story it does have. Even IS2 at least tried attempts at adding some tension, twists and turns. This is just brain dead. Plain and simple, unexciting, and certainly not captivating. And I just realized that speedballs have cocaine in it, and if that chimp had 50 beers, it would be dead. That's almost how I felt while watching this. It doesn't make you think about its predecessor the same way. In fact, it improves the image of it within your own subconscious. And no matter what the context might or might not be, that should never be a positive when expressing your personal experience. I dare say, out of all the things I kept wondering about this Mercury infestation, the biggest one is whether or not Ichika is the true asshole with his obnoxious idiocy, or if he's actually the victim, and it's the girls who are the true douchebags for treating him like shit and love him for doing so. Or they may as well be both the true pricks of the story because of a lack of a solid direction. Either way, Free Dirt is the best girl. Oh, but what about the presentation, you ask? Infinite Stratos is ace in the hole. True, when IS2 rolled around, I was surprised to find a solid visual and audio presentation attached to a tired narrative effort, especially the musical score, which was leagues beyond anything it really deserved. I was expecting the same out of this. An above average presentation to what I feel is pretty much the anime equivalent of playing Duke Nukem Forever when actually watching it. Expressive, mind-numbingly repetitious, and so profoundly irritating that you just want to throw yourself off a flight of stairs in the hope that it would end already. This is partially the case. The musical score is thematically similar to IS2 for the most part, which is a good and a bad in that it keeps up its predecessor's melodic energy, but can be easily confused unless you're listening to it on its own, due to sounding almost the same at face value, while the voice acting efforts are still in the territory of cliched but passable. But that's where the identicalness and quality sort of end, as other aspects drag. The characters are given a slightly altered, slimmer appearance performance thanks to a new character designer, and yet couldn't be bothered to reinforce the modeling consistency in parallel to this change in symmetrical design direction. What used to be a cast with fairly developed designs that held together well in motion most of the time are now prone to show off how compromised the detailing and modeling is in ways I am astonished to even have realized. And where IS1 handled its visual shortcomings well enough to occasionally impress, this does not. The animation is so mundanely average, I think I get more frames playing 10 seconds of Crisis at max settings while recording with Fraps than half a goddamn episode. The coloring and lighting is flatter, and it's only in more passive moments when it actually kicks things up a notch in some of the most lifeless environments in the series, but nothing sticks out quite as much as its use of CG. One of the things I noticed after a while is how much more reliant on CG it is, even in places where 2D animation would work just as well, if not better. And because the CG is used to a higher extent than the first season, you are able to notice it more often and clearly in all their horrific, vomit-inducing, graphic horror, gut-punching glory. And I like me some graphics, folks. Transitioning, or other techniques to disguise the model quality, are more sparse, mainly used in less active shots and not as natural in design. And as a result, it creates distractions from the action thanks to your inability to ignore the modeling work by just how prominent it is. It's nowhere near as bad as the dragon from Fate Stay Night, but it's still below the bar the first season set up. Like the people in charge saw how well IS1 sold, greenlit this, but made cutbacks in order to save money for more potential licensing or some shit. This could have used that extra addition of superficiality. So with a oddly noticeable downgrade in presentation, along with its hackneyed, aimless black hole of a story, Infinite Stratos 2 is a lazy, half-cocked, uncouth bowl of tap water mixed with a raw steak, underdeveloped successor to an anime that was already lazy. The epitome of making more for the sake of making more to make more dough, more. Something that resembles a paycheck more than actual pieces of animation. And considering the fanbase this apparently does have, that might as well be the ever-loving case. And it made me realize how better off IS1 truly is in its current state. In fact, I feel like I want to apologize to the fucking thing. Infinite Stratos, baby! I'm sorry! I'm so sorry, baby. I never knew just how bad you can get until now. I have undervalued you for so long, and now I see the error of my ways. And it only took a glance at your deformed bastard child slash sister slash aunt slash granddaughter slash uncle to do so. You're not as bad as you could have been. In fact, I'm going to give your score a promotion. Yeah, I mean, giving you a 1.5 out of 5, that's just silly. How about, say, a 2? Yeah, a 2 out of 5. That's how much I love you.
I hate you.
Bottom line, I don't recommend Infinite Stratos 2, neither to fans or general anime watchers. It's weaker in virtually every aspect and increased my already low appreciation for its prequel, despite how generic it was. Avoid it like the plague, kitty Vickies.
I hate you. I hate you. I hate you. I hate you. I hate you.
I hate you. I hate you.